Hi all, welcome back. Conflict to Heroes Solo Mission 3 Hunting Chernov. This is going to be part 7. Been away for a few days. I've caught up with everything, had a couple of comments, well not really. Yeah, it's something to speak about I suppose. Got an answer to my seat cover question, although it still seems that not so clear. Not really sure. It wasn't a sort of answer that made me feel like everything was resolved, shall we say. But we'll get to that in a second. I've took a couple of comments, a couple of notes here from part 5. I think I've added all these comments to the headers because I've uploaded part 5, part 6. I'm up to date with everything. However, 2 or 3 mistakes creeping in. I thought there was another one as well, but I got away with it. When I say I got away with it, it was fine. This guy, I thought this unit was in here at some point, and this guy was in his line of sight. Now, that wouldn't reveal him because he's in cover, but when I was watching it back, we were checking for the counter actions, and that would be an AI in his line of sight. And I was just about to say, you've messed that up as well. And then I forgot it's within 5 hexes. And I think even later on, I've got one later on that says it's not within 5 hexes, Grant, where I'm talking about one. I think I'm talking about one that's up there, and I'm deciding is it in line of sight. Oh yeah, it's the one. No, it's not. Can't be that. I can't remember. It was something that was blocking line of sight that was up there. Anyway, it was more than 5 hexes, and that's what stipulates the AI needs to have a unit within 5. However, when he's checking for other AI in his line of sight, that can be as long as it needs to be. So that was it, but there was a couple of mistakes. One big one as well. I thought it was something else. Maybe it's written here. Hang on, there's 2 or 3 things. And part 5's video was 2 hours long. That was my bad. I must have took a cut, and it was about 35-40 minutes, and I didn't know it was there. So when I put the video together, obviously it was 35-40 minutes longer than I thought it was. So the fact I'd started putting it together, I just left it. So, however, you can do with that as you please. I'm sure some of you probably don't watch it from start to finish as well, because I know they're long-winded. I know that, but it's just how I enjoy doing it. So that's that. My comment, part 5, at the hour and 2 minute mark, it should have been a Soviet turn, and I totally skipped on by it. Now, I know this is something that's quite easy done. I've watched 2 or 3 videos in this game, and it is something I've seen other people do as well. You just get caught up in the moment, and what it was, we revealed an AI. I want to say it was one of the ones that was a no enemy. So we moved into position, then went through the procedure of revealing it, found it a no enemy, and because I was dealing with the AI at that time, it kind of threw me, and I must have then thought, right, that's them, had their turn back to us. Now, I'm going to see if I can sneak away. I know it's not ideal, and it's probably rubbish and whatever. I was going to see if I can sneak an extra turn in for the AI once we get started here. It could be that's in a position where that's going to be I'm not really able to do that. I'm not sure. We'll see if we can squeeze it in. It is still the AI's turn at the moment, right? So I think once I've finished dealing with this, which we'll get to in a minute, then I'll give them another turn since they missed that one out. And I know that was quite a bit back, but it was just to try and even up as best as I could, because I can't go back. I need to redo the whole footage and go way back and wipe things out. So, but I hate when they happen, because that just, to me, it puts a big sort of question mark on the result of how things were and whatever. And I know these things happen. Mistakes are going to happen, but some things like that, I don't know. it's quite huge when you're taking a turn away from the opponent, you know. So, hang on a sec. Right, okay, sorry. Well, we'll see what we can do with that. Right, part 6. Again, it's not more than 5 hexes away, so I must have had 2 or 3 of these where I've not actually counted them, but I've been looking at it and whatever. Yeah, okay. I thought there was something else, and then now the last bit is dealing with this. And I've left a comment saying, okay, I think from here to the end of the part, I'm making a mess and overthinking this order. I'm pretty sure that the AI should move into the heavy woods directly in front of it and hex E10. Right here. You should just move right into here. And then I've said, rather than trying to explain it here, I'll save it for the next part. And that's where we're at. So I'll go through what my thinking is on this again. And I'm still not, well, yeah. I'm pretty sure this is right. And I think I was overthinking it. Well, let's get things open to where we need them to be, Grant. And I mean, it's all about the movement and that. I want to get that player aid laminated and have that. So I've got that at the side of me, I think. Hang on. Right. Okay. So let's just look at this again. The command, and there's the unit, and now what is it? It's AI in 0DM hex closest to a target. Low risk move towards cover closest to the target. This is the AI and the 0DM hex. This is his closest target. These 3 can be said are the cover round about him, but I mean, you can see he's closer to these 2 pieces of cover. In fact, this is his closest piece to cover. So this should be his target. This is the unit. So that's what he should be low risk moving towards. So I check the low risk moves, and I say, is he not in a fire zone? He's not in a fire zone. So number 1 is he will move into another non-fire zone hex, right? So I decide that he could move into here, he could move into here. But what is that benefiting? It's not getting him any closer. It's not in a plus 0, it's not in a more defensive hex. It's not into the guy's flank. What are the other ones? The movement hierarchy itself is, bullet 1 is move closer, right? Fewer number of hexes. Bullet 2 is out of a fire zone. See, I think that's the one that when I looked at that was stretching me, because if I come into there, I'm moving into a fire zone. However, if I come into there, I'm getting closer to him. So bullet 1 is getting closer. Bullet 2 is not going into a fire zone, right? So, and remember, I'm not trying to achieve multiples of the bullets. I'm working through them one at a time. The priority bullet is get closer. However, he doesn't still need to be doing it under the low risk move. And the low risk move, like I say, if he's not in a fire zone, he'll move into another non-fire zone hex. Well, yeah, he could go into there, but that doesn't satisfy the movement hierarchy. Doesn't get him closer, doesn't do any of that. You can move into there, it's the same. It doesn't do anything for him. So, if we then look at number 2, and this is where I was not... Well, I actually read it out, and then I'm thinking, yeah, Grant, it's right there. So, number 2, if he can't move into another non-fire zone hex, right, that achieves some benefit for him. Like I say, he can move into there, but it does nothing. It doesn't satisfy any of the movement hierarchy. So number 2 is he'll move into a fire zone hex that has a defensive modifier. It's simple. He just moves in there. He's moving into a fire zone, yes. He's moving into a defensive modified hex, so. And he's satisfied. He's doing that, and he's also... Well, the thing is, to be honest, we don't need to look at the movement hierarchy, really, because even if that defensive modified hex was here, right, if it was here, he would still move into it. And it's not getting him any closer. Nah, that's not technically true, is it? Well, hang on. If he was 1, 2, 3, yeah, no. Let's just say it was there. There's a perfect example. There's a perfect hex. Let's just say there was a heavy woods here, right? And yeah, he would still move into that, even though he's not getting closer to the unit, and he's moving into a fire zone. He's moving at a defensive modified hex. That's the way I'm seeing it. That's how I wasn't seeing it at first, and I almost put a question out about this, and then in the end, I still thought about putting the question out just to be extra sure that these aren't legal moves. I mean, they're not illegal moves, but they're not satisfying anything in the movement hierarchy. Whereas that satisfies it does satisfy the movement hierarchy, but it does. Yeah, but that's the thing, Grant. That's the thing, because step one of the AI is not in a fire zone. We'll move into another non-fire zone hex. Is that, isn't it? So it's not just about that, is it? So the fact I'm saying that just by moving it there, we don't need to look anywhere else. Well, you kind of do, because it says we'll move into a fire zone hex that has a DM, and then we check the movement hierarchy, and he's moved one hex closer. So that does satisfy it, whereas that does not, I don't think. I think that's how I'm seeing it. Hopefully I've got that right. I did want to look at... Yeah, this was a bit... And I read about this as well. AI movement, 2 ords. AI movement that does not increase the number of hexes to the target, right? So let's just jump back again to where he was. And let's look at these two. These do not increase the movement to the target, right? So AI movement that does not increase the number of hexes to the target. If an AI cannot move in a way that decreases the number of hexes to a target, it may instead move into a target's flank, move into cover, or pivot, providing that it does not increase the number of hexes to the target. So it would move into there if it was satisfying being in the unit's flank, being pivoting, or what was the other one? Into cover. And it's not doing anything. So that's where I feel like we're at now with that. I'm just looking at the query just to see if it maybe words it slightly differently. So for move orders, so low risk moves. If the order specifies that the move must be low risk, the AI will not move into close combat, will not move into short range inside the target's fire zone. If the AI is not in a fire zone, the AI will move into another fire zone hex, then will move into a fire zone hex that has a DM. See, even still reading that, it still kind of scares me a little and makes me think, well, that's first on the list. Well, one of the 2 hexes. You would probably randomise between them. That's first on the list. And he can do it. He's not getting closer. But he can do it. But if we looked at the other bit that I've just read, if he's not getting closer, and he needs to be satisfying one of the things, being in the unit's flank, pivoting towards the unit, or in a defensive modified hex, and these 2 are not. So I'm going to still stick with this and say that he would make that move before he'd make the A2. Now, I'd like people's opinions on it, and also, okay, I'm bumping into a lot of people that want to rule 42 and want to like suggest that what the move is they think is better. That's fine, guys. Look, you bash on. Enjoy the game that way and whatever, and you know what, sometimes you're going to be right in doing that, playing it and moving it into the best hex and whatever. Is this the best hex for the unit? I struggle to find them sometimes. Okay, sometimes they can be more obvious than this, but that's fine. But if anybody wants to help me out, please don't say to me, look, that's where I would see the best hex. Please say to me that I've got the rule right, if you're going to say it. I mean, by all means, if you want to add that, okay, the rule is going to... Lewis has answered a couple of my questions, and he clearly likes to make certain decisions, sometimes how he sees the better hex. That's fine. But he has given his due. He has said, yeah, by the rules, that's where it would go. However, I wouldn't think that's the best move for it, and I would move it elsewhere. Fair enough. That's fine if you want to put it that way. I want to know what, if I'm getting the rule right. That's all. I want to know if I'm getting the rule right. Whether you guys want to change that about once you've found the hex, then that's great. Okay, so that's what I'm going to do with this. That's a command order card, so it's going to be back to us. Well, I say it's going to be back to us. I think I will step in and take this one. Give them this extra move, right? So, and it might mean that this guy gets shot upon, but I think I deserve some punishment anyway for missing out. However, there was a couple other things I forgot to speak about. Yeah, regarding the seat cover, it was Lewis replied to me with this, and this was, I was asking, RRE considered, it was a 3-part question, RRE, rumoured enemy, considered for the seat cover, and he quoted me the rule that told you what RE do, and yes, it does say that they just act the same as any other AI, blah, 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 blah. So he quoted me the rule, he says, going by the rule, yes. So fair enough, yeah, it seems that he's right, that with that these are considered just the same. So you could put seat cover on that. And then second part of the question was, if they are considered, what is their defence value? Well, interestingly, he came up with a 9 figure. And I think his answer was along, I assume it is 9. Now, I only thought that 9 was for if we wanted to fire on them. However, you know what? It could well be right, because it's in the position. It's in the 9 position where the defence value is position. So he could be spot on with that one. And this is a rule that we've come across. We've done it now. In this scenario, it's not going to matter too much, because as soon as they move the hasty defence marker, it's going to fall off anyway. So it's not a biggie, but the question's still out there. Like I say, Lewis's answers, and finally, in the third part of the question was, what defence value do you use of the unit? And he wasn't, I didn't give me a clear-cut answer there as well. Do you use the frontal defence of 14, or do you use the flank defence of 13? And I think when we were up there, we were speaking about, I think we looked at this unit at first, and then thought, because this guy's in this guy's flank, then we should probably consider the 13 defence here rather than the 14. Because all it's asking for is the lowest defence value. Lowest defence rating. And lowest defence rating is defence value plus terrain that it's in. So I had thought about that at the time, and Lewis did sort of suggest that maybe that's how it's meant to be, the closest AI, where he's positioned. Then you look and say, well, hang on, he's in his flank, so let's check that. That's a 13, plus the 2 for the hex, that's 15, rather than the 16. But he didn't, again, he finished off the reply by saying maybe somebody with more knowledge could come along and answer that question fully. So, not quite sure about all that, and it does seem quite clear in the rules that RE are involved. They should be considered. The number 9, I'm not. I guess, yeah, that could be right. It's the only thing you can take from it. It is in the position where it shows defence value. So maybe I should have just took that. And then the other one about what number do you take, the flank or the front, So all a bit left there with that one, but it's not a huge biggie. But I still like to get these things cleared up, and maybe somebody else will come along and help us out. And ideally, it looks like one you need the designer, because Lewis is out there answering lots of questions. He's obviously very knowledgeable in the game. So if he can't give you a definite answer, then you're really looking for the designer to come along and say, right, this is how it should be considered, because it's not clear in the rules, shall we say. Right, okay. Right, other quick thing to talk about, how one of the guys that follows me, and I'm sure I think you're watching the videos, Hal, so He had asked me a bit of advice about what version to get. I didn't really give him a clear-cut answer, and then I was a bit worried that he might, because he told me he was getting the third edition, and I was a bit worried as I'm seeing a few things sort of clash with the solo rules and whatever. However, he's got the third edition rules. He's happy with it. He thinks it's a good improvement. I think components wise as well. He thinks it's a good improvement and whatever. And he's happy to just mess along, go along with third edition. Yes, it can still be played with a solo. But the one that's just got me now is the removal of the mobilization rules, but not just that. There's certain restrictions that have been messed about. Different movement costs for wheeled vehicles and track vehicles, and the fact that you're going to introduce that into a solar system that says a track vehicle will not move into a stone building, and we're going to be allowed to move into stone buildings, I can't play with that like that. I don't think that's right. If I was playing with third edition, I don't know. I'd have to change a rule within the third edition, I guess, to say that there still is an immobilizing check, but then they've done away with that. I would have to allow the solo AI to move into a stone building. I think that's what it comes down to. But the fact that there's some other little changes, different costs for wheeled and whatever, there may be changes for the best, but the solar system was built in the second edition, and I pointed out 3 bits that I've came across already. I thought it was more than that maybe, and there might be, and I'm just forgetting about them. One was the fact that the stress rule in third edition, it's not been incorporated into solo. Okay, you could easily introduce it. I think you need to watch, so certain orders are going to say this, that, and you're going to have to say, right, do I use that stressed unit or that non-stressed unit? I guess more than likely the non-stressed unit is going to win because it's going to be less cost to activate it. But it could be, if they're not the same distance away and whatever, it could be controversial a little bit. Anyway, I'm sure that's not so hard to incorporate into it. The other one was the reinforcements coming on the map, and unless I've picked that up wrong, second edition was you were doing a spent check on, it was costing you 1 AP to bring them on the map. Now, the problem with that is second edition didn't do the spent check thing. But for the solo side of things, it didn't tell you to do it differently. So it would be one AP cost to move it on the map. Then you would have to do a 1 spent check. Where third edition allows you to do that for free. So you'd have to, I don't know what you do there. You pick one or the other, I suppose. And then finally, this whole thing about the stone buildings, no immobilization check. And not just the stone buildings, the wheeled vehicles. I actually want to say that... No, hang on, I might be wrong. Did I not... The new rules not allow me to make the move I did make illegally? What was it? A wooden building, wasn't it? Yeah, it did, actually. So there you go. So I was saying... I think that's the one Hal brought up to me, actually. Because he's obviously got the third edition, and he says, yeah, if you look, it does cost, it's plus 2 APs, right, for a wheeled unit to enter a wooden building. However, if we look at the second edition rules, it's for a wooden building, it's not accessible. It's an any, which is not accessible, isn't it? Or not applicable, or wheeled and tracked vehicles are not allowed. Basically, any. So, alright, because I'm not allowed for steel hip. Right, where does it tell you? I've got any there beside a wooden building. Any, not accessible. Yeah, it's at the top. Units may not enter this hex type. So there, if I'd been playing third edition, well, I guess I was, so I kind of got away with that one. When we moved into it, was this building here, this unit had moved in. And then when I checked the second edition rules, I realised I shouldn't have been able to do that. But there you go. These are quite big changes, so... Yeah, I mean, you can still play it, you can still play it that way, but the whole stone building thing, you're going to allow your units to move into it and the AI will not be allowed. Nah, I couldn't have that one. But however, okay. Anyway, I'm glad you're enjoying it anyway, Hal. Looks like you seem to be happy with it, so that's good. And yeah, you'll just need to remember that I'm now going to go back to playing second edition. Well, see, here's the thing now. I mean, I think I have to introduce it now because I've not realised about the stone building. So I kind of, although we're only sort of halfway through this scenario, I kind of need to incorporate it now in some ways. Well, I've got all my units deployed, so I'm not got the issue with bringing them on the map and wondering if I should pay an AP for them. So I've done all that. And we'll just need to get through this mission and then just be solid about the fact that, right, now, 3rd edition rules, I'm chucking them over out the way and we're just sticking with 2nd edition. Righty-ho. Okay. Right, so are we going to allow them another turn? I think so. Right, let's get on that. Let's give the AI another turn. And hopefully it's not too deadly. Okay, so here we go. Right, it's not a blue card. No close combat or short range. Well, it still might be in this area because we might have counter actions now. So counter actions are again AI with more in line of sight units within 5 hexes than in line of sight AI. Well, he's got 1, 2, 3. This guy's within 5 line of sight. This one's behind this building, so no. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, to be honest, these are out of range. Yeah, should start be thinking about if it's more than 5. Doesn't count, Grant. So does he have any AI in his line of sight? I think he does actually, doesn't he? Unless this guy in that box might be, that is 1 elevation up, but that's a 0. So he's not on a plateau. However, this is going to block line of sight. So that could be quite close actually, couldn't it? Looks like it just kind of skips by that, there to there. Yeah, it does look like it just hits the corner, not going over that. I think I'd be better moving these. So move that up and up, and then see if I can get a steady hand. So there, centre to centre. And see, it does look like it's crossing there. It is. Where's the dot? Yeah, centre dot to centre. It's very close, but it just crosses into that hex just. So he doesn't have line of sight to that AI anyway. Obviously not to this guy as well. Remember that distance can be any length. No, I'm not seeing it. So I think he's now going to back up, which is maybe odd and whatever. Now, is there anybody else on the map that's got line of sight on a unit within 5 hexes? No, there's not. This guy over here is spent, so, and it's not a blue card, so we can't consider him. And then no other guy would go, it's up there, but it's nothing in 5. These RE over here have nothing in the line of sight. So he does have more units in his line within 5 hexes in his line of sight than he does have AI in his line of sight. So he is going to execute counter actions, which is low risk move towards cover towards closest AI. Low risk move towards closest AI. So I do think he's just going to back up because this is green card, and that's the other thing I meant to say to you. That low risk, it was a low risk move, remember, and we've already said they'll not move into that last one. It was a blue card as well, but it was a low risk move as well. This is a green card, but it's a low risk move, so he could potentially, if that was the move, he could move into there. But so he's going to move. He's wanting to move closer to this guy, that's his closest AI. He's just going to back up that 1 hex because he's in a fire zone, and he moves back there. He's now not in a fire zone. He's going to keep his facing that way, so he's just going to reverse back. He's now closer to that, and he's satisfied the low risk part of it. He's not in a fire zone, and yeah, we obviously checked this, didn't we? Yeah, we checked that, and it cut through there a bit, didn't it? Just humour me, Grant. Tell you what, that's not. How have I? Oh, is it this hex maybe? It is. It's that hex, because it doesn't go into that hex. It's that hex there, right? Okay, so he is not in line of sight, and is not in that guy's fire zone there. So yeah, so that's fine. So he's done that, and he's got to do a check on a 2, because remember, this is a green card, and 1 to move and 1 to back up. So he's going to check on a 2. So a bit of a strange kind of setup there, and I dare say some of you guys would intervene maybe, but I don't know. See, how do you intervene with that one? That is the correct move. If you're going to sort of say, well, no, I'm not going to do that with him, I'm going to move him into here, then you're just playing the game 2-player, aren't you? If you start interfering with things like that, aren't you? Maybe not. Maybe some folk think, well, it's silly to have done that and then do that again, but so maybe. You know what? You play the game as you want. I'll try and play it as the rules say. That's all I can sort of do. Okay, so check on a 2. Here we go. And it is a 2, so that's good. Right, okay, so that might give us something to think about. This guy's spent. This guy's good. We've got a strong guy down there, haven't we? What's he on top of? Nothing, right? Yeah, he was immobilised at one point, wasn't he? Okay, but we do need to get things moving. We're halfway through the mission track, and the VP score is 1 to them, but we need to get that other tank, because they get 3 points if we don't get it. We get 3 points if we get it. So even if we were to lose a couple of tanks, we still need to kill that tank, and then we could probably still win the mission. So I have no caps, right? I was just looking. It's been a while since we played, isn't it? We've still got the careful aim, and we've got this rapid deployment, but I don't know. I've already said that I don't think it's. It could be useful if over passable terrain, if it allows a tank to move through some woods, but I'm not sure it should allow that, really. So I don't know. I think this is more for using for an infantry unit. But then why would they play with this card in this scenario? Because there's no infantry. So I don't know. That tends to make me think maybe you can use a tank to move through the woods. 2 hexes through woods. Maybe. I'm going to leave it there because I'm not that sure. I was kind of hoping somebody might chime in, but I could always chuck a question out there about it, actually, to be honest. Find some answer. Right, well, what are we going to do? Well, this guy is closer to this, but remember, he's only going to attack rating of 3. Whereas this is the guy we want to get moving up, really. Is there anything else we can get in line of sight, maybe, that's in a 0 DM hex? Just looking up here. This guy, he's on a plateau bit, so we can't until he moves down. Sorry, it's maybe just out of range. He is on a plateau, so we need him to move at least into one of these hexes where we get a chance to see him. He's only 1 hex up. This is blocking line of sight, though, so we need to get... To be honest, you got something up round the corner here, that would spot him. So, potentially. Because we do need to get after them, eh? Well, maybe I could move this guy up that way with the hope of coming up there and spotting that. and maybe move the stronger guy up the road here towards this to try and have a go at it. Well, let's move him first then. Okay, so 1, 2, and checking on a 1, just to see. You might not get very far. That's a 5, so all good. Right, AI back to them. Another green card. So first 2 don't matter. Hit AI closest to mission objective. Rally. No, can't happen. AI closest to lowest defense value. Fresh unit. Fire +1 caps. No. Yeah, there's no AI got line of sight on any other units, so there can't be any firing. AI closest to a unit, closest to a mission objective, move towards. AI closest to a unit, closest to a mission objective, move towards. I don't think we can use that, can we? Because we don't have a mission objective, so we can't find the AI that's closest to it. Sorry, the unit that's closest to it, for the AI then to move closer to. Okay, what about the next one though? Well, that'll get things moving a bit. All RE, low risk move towards closest units. Whoosh. Yeah, I thought there was instructions like this on occasion, and we found one, and it's the perfect scenario for it. And yeah, I kind of feel like this is probably better for us. Let them all come down a little bit. Now let's just double check I've not skipped in. And they can't do any of that. They can't rally. They can't fire. And this one, yeah, because we don't have a mission objective. The only objective that enters the scenario is when the Soviets' next KV-1A comes into play, and then that becomes actually, it doesn't even call it a mission objective, does it? It just says it remains. The control marker moves and remains with. Yeah, it's because we're placing a control marker underneath it. Doesn't turn it into a mission objective. And anyway, it's on a Soviet tank. It's not as if it's on one of ours. So I don't think we can consider that, because I wouldn't know what unit to look at. So I'm going to go with this. I'm going to go with all RE, low risk move towards closest units. Okay. Right, okay, I'm just going to go left to right here then. I don't know if there's a better... If there was some instruction that told you how to do this. I don't really think it matters. So there's our first RE here. And his closest unit is this guy here, just at the bottom of the camera there. So thing is, I think he will. I think he actually will move into here, because it's a low risk move. Because he can go 1, 2, or he can go 1, 2, or he can go 1 into there, because it's a low risk move. And or is that closer? No, it will be closer. Will it, Grant? Let me check. Yeah, neither of these are closer. These are all going to be 9 hexes away from his closest unit. So he is moving closer, moving either into here. That would be with his bonus movement. That's so with that, or into the cover. So he's going to stay in the cover, because it's a low risk move. Or if it would be in a blue card, he would have done the same. So that satisfies things. He will take a check on a 3, isn't it? No, that's not what I want, that. Yeah, the play rates need to be brought out rather than having to look up them all the time. Where are we? Plus, what is it? Heavy woods. Yeah, it's +2 for tracked vehicles. So it costs him 3 to make that move. See, that's a bit where it only costs them 1 to move into there, you know, or 1 to move into there. It costs them 3 to move into there. But because low risk move says, well, they're both getting as close, and then it's not low risk move, is it? Movement hierarchy says that fewer number of hexes, not in a fire zone, highest defense modifier. So there you go. So that's the fewest number of hexes. Where's that? And that would be neither of them are in a fire zone. And Grant's having a look just to make sure he's got that right. Yeah. And this is a 0 DM hex, this is a 0, this is a 2. So he does that. Unfortunately, he has to do a spent check on a 3. So, well, hang on, we still need that card lying about, don't we? So, okay, so spent check for him on a 3. Is that right? I'm starting to think that there's some kind of rule here that says that all RE get checked with 1 card. That's not right. Is that not a specific mission thing, Grant? I think there's a scenario where you draw a card for all the RE that move, but I don't think this is the one. Let me see if I can find something about that. Right, I thought I'd go and have a look at the forums, and there was somebody questioned this. Card 17, well, it is card 17 as well, so maybe this is the only one that has it. Basically just asking, do you do an individual spent check for each AI that you move? Because there's going to be quite a lot of them. We're going to go through quite a few cards. Lewis replied with, he just done the 1 card draw, and then everybody that you take note of, I'm going to have to mark them with a dice or something. Well, I could do that. I've got the wee dice. To see how much movement points they check, and we'll just draw 1 card and check them. He described it as a sort of group sort of move, but they're not obviously as a group. Doug also commented that that's how he would do it as well, and because either that or you burn through an awful lot of cards. So Lewis did say though that there was nothing clear in the rules about how it should be done. So, but they guys, if that's how they say they'll do it, I'll do it that way as well. And I think the guy that asked the question, that's how he had done it as well. So we'll do that. So I'll mark the. Well, I suppose I could draw the card just now and then just we'll keep that suspense till the end. I think. Hang on. Okay, so I marked him with a 3. That's what cost he's just used. So next RE, Loris moved towards. You know what? I think the same thing is going to move into that wooden building, isn't he? He could come around. Yeah, I'll just double check the distance. Okay, it's not quite the same because actually that is 1 hex closer than what that is. So he's going to have moved around 1, 2. And he would just be checking on a 1. Alright. And that's a Loris move. Yeah. Okay, right, moving on, because there's quite a few of these to get dealt with. So next along is, I suppose, this guy. Just, if I'm going left to right anyway. So, where's his closest unit? It's probably these guys still down here, I think. Yeah, because there's nothing. Well, maybe. Hang on, I might need to check that. We've got 1 unit across there. Alright, so actually he's the same distance away from this guy. Oh, sorry, this guy, and this guy over here. So he's got 3 possibilities. So just having a look there. If there's more than 1 equally distant away, execute the order against the spent unit first, then the hit unit, then the unit closest to mission objective, then randomly. Well, these 2 aren't spent, however, this guy over here is spent, so his lowest move's going to be towards him. And I don't think he wants to go up the hill, but hang on. Yeah, he's that far away that it's not really. I just wonder if he might move. He could move 1 into there. He could move 1 up this hill or 1 into here, and it's the same. Well, shouldn't you? Now, does it not cost them for moving up the hill then, though? And we're going to stick with second edition here. I'm just going to have to, because there definitely is some changes to that. So hills, yeah, it would be +1. I think coming down it's alright. Yeah, it's +1 for any vehicle, any steep hills, they can't go up, right? Yeah, so that would be a +1 to do that. Thing is, there's nothing in the rules to say that would stop him from doing that, would there? If he's got 2 different hexes, he can move to. Yeah. So it'd be fewest number, out of fire zone, highest defense modifier, towards enemy's flank randomly. I don't know, like being up the hill, that doesn't give him a highest defense modifier, doesn't it? So in actual fact, I suppose, going literally by the rules, hills, no it's not, it doesn't give him. Units higher than the enemy receive +1. Yeah, open terrain bonus moves still count. Sorry. Units higher than the enemy receive a +1 defense modifier and +1 attack rating. So in actual fact, yeah, he would. It's not. Well, it's costing him 1 more movement point. That's the thing. But it does say it. If it was between these two, this is a higher defensive modified hex. Well, it's technically not if a unit was up the same height. So I'm not 100% sure if we should be looking at that just now. Yeah, I would think so. Yeah, so I'm going to do that then. Let me know your thoughts on that then. Is that classed as a +1 DM hex? You know, when it only says it only counts against an enemy lower than it? I mean, or would you look and say, well, there's all the units are lower than it, so it is getting that +1? I suppose that's technically true, eh? Alright, well, we'll go with that. It's probably not a biggie. However, that did cost him 1 extra movement point, though. 1 extra AP, because they're moving up the hill, whereas it would only cost them 1 to go there, it costs them 2 there. But we'll go with that. Okay. Right, this guy's a bit closer to the action, so his closest is going to be, I think it's going to be down here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Or this other guy as well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, so it's one of these two, I think. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, so one of these two, it wants the low risk move towards. I think he just stays in the woods, doesn't he? So I want to say he can move into that hex or that hex. I wonder if he can get, if this guy would have line of sight on him. Okay, I was just having a close look at the possible line of sight on him, and it would be in a fire zone. He will be in line of sight there. However, that hex there, the line of sight crosses that hex. So that hex is not in a fire zone, and that one is. So it's not a random decision between these two. So my take is he moves into there, and he would check on a 2, because it's 1 plus a 1 for the Whitewoods. For a vehicle in the Whitewoods, remember. Right, okay, moving along. Right, I think, what are we at, 49 minutes. Right, this is probably going to finish me off, this this AI turn, I think. As it turns out. This wasn't the extra... No, it wasn't, no. Right, okay, so next one. Right, I'm pretty sure he's closer to this. Yeah. I was just looking at the hill, the fact he's coming down a hill, but I mean, it doesn't say that there's any penalty to coming down a hill. It just says there's one for going up a hill, and you would kind of think that it's kind of makes sense, doesn't it? It's not going to cost him extra for going down the hill. So he's on a level 2, so we might bring this guy into a sort of... He's going to come off his plateau anyway. This is his closest unit, so he wants the lowest move towards him. Well, actually, I want to say that it's between these two, and this one's still on an elevation of 1. That one's on a 0. So just double... Yeah, in fact, I don't need to double check. So rather than going to this hex... Oh no, I'm lying. That's got a same elevation as well. Now, are either of them in line? Oh, they will be. Right, give me a second. Yeah, well, actually, both these hexes are in this guy's line of sight. They're not in his fire zone because he's got his back to them. But remember, no, that's not technically true, Grant, is it? Because he's turreted, they are in his fire zone, aren't they? I think they're still considered. I wonder if that's something I've missed. Okay, I've actually realised they can move into here as well, and that's so it's either one of these 3 hexes, and he's 9 hexes away, and there's a possibility that one's not in his fire zone, and yeah, it won't be, will it? No, because there's no line. He doesn't have line of sight in there. So between the 3, this guy's going to go 1, 2 into there, and he's still not in a fire zone, and that's only that'll be a check on a 1 for him. Okay, moving along. This guy next. It's all level 1 elevation, that. Yeah, I mean, it could just come 1, 2 forward, I think. Right, hang on. Okay, I was wondering there if this guy might go, because this is 2 elevation up. This is as higher up than what this is, and thought he might benefit more defensive wise. Not that it's really like, yeah, I shouldn't be putting too much thought into this really, but I suppose I'm trying to keep everything by the book. But it doesn't. It just says they got a +1 DM for being on a higher elevation. So it doesn't matter if he's 2 up. Well, it would matter if he was 2 up and the unit was 1 up. But if it was a situation here right now where there was a unit at 1 elevation, then I would say, right, let's get up to 2 elevation, but there's not. So I don't see the need for us to like try and go for that hex. However, what I can see is it's just a random choice between the 2, which might seem quite strange. And again, I'm sure guys would just come in here, rule 42, and just say it's only costing them 1 to move into that hex, where it's costing them 2 to move into that. But I'm stubborn. So we're gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and it's a 6. So there you go. The AI's getting punished. So he's gonna go into that hex, which is the same distance away, and because he climbed a level, he's taking a check on a 2. Right, the guy next to him, what's he got? He's just sitting in a... so again, this is low risk move though, Grant. So I think you can just come forward, because that's going down a level, and that's going down to deck level, if you like. That's getting closer to this unit. Again, this is the unit we want to look at. And it's not going to be in his fire zone. It's not line of sight. I don't think. I'm figuring this is... Oh, this stops at 2 grand. Anyway. So that's fine. So I think just 1, 2. Straight ahead. Technically. No, because that'll be further away. Because that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 away. That would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 away. Yeah. So he's going to come down to here. And that's just a check and a 1 for him. Right, we're getting there. There's 3 to go still though. Right. I want to get this wrapped up. And as usual, my battery's going again. Right, this guy... He's on a plateau as well. Yeah, I think just straight ahead. Well, potentially it could be that hex or that hex. That guy cannot see that hex because he's right in front of him. He's got that wreck, and he cannot see that hex. So. Sorry, I'm maybe not showing you the unit there. Right, okay, so I think this is a straightforward random between these 2 hexes. So I'll say 1, 2, 3 with the 1 on the left. I've rolled the 4. So the 1 on the right, this one. So 1, 2, he's dropped down. He's still on. But now he's on, we can see him now. Not that there's not any unit that can see him, but at least he's seeable. Whereas up on that plateau, he wasn't. We couldn't see him. That's only a 1 because he was coming down the hill. Well, he came a long 1 and then dropped down 1. Right. The last 2 are over here. There might be a difference between where they're going to move to. Let me double check the numbers. Right. So this guy's 9 away from these. 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, he's 9 away from these. He's 8 away from that. So that's his closest unit. So he's going to low risk move. Is he on the road? Is that on the road? Yeah, it is, isn't it? Hang on. Well, Right, give me a sec. Yeah, he is on the road. It's a heavy woods hex because it's where the wee centre dot is targeted on, and it's a heavy woods hex. However, there's a road running through it, so yeah, that's pretty straightforward on it. So, however, if he does go 1, 2, right, okay, not good timing for an interruption. Just want to get this one finished. So yeah, we're talking about coming down the road, weren't we? Yeah, but he's there, isn't he? So we're going to move into, well, we're definitely going to move into his fire zone if we go there. However, he could low risk move into there. It's getting him closer. Is that the right move then? Yeah, I think it's straightforward and he moves into there. That is moving 1 hex closer. He's not in this guy's fire zone, whereas if he did come down the road here, he's in there. It's difficult to see the hexes in there, isn't it? On that road. Yeah, he was in here, wasn't he? So if he came into there, that's 1. That's getting closer as well, but to be honest, even that hex there, I think, is in his fire zone. So I think that is the right call. We'll go with that. That's going to be a check on a 3 though for him. So that's that. Right, and then the last one. Right, he's going to be closer to these 2 guys. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Close to both of them. Now, well, he can either move into one of these, it will get him closer, but remember he can't 2 hex move into these, so the other option is to move into there. That's just possible, because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, is that going to be the same? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, yeah. So all 3 of the hexes are the same. And they're not moving into line of sight. I think it's just a random roll between them, isn't that? Fewer number of hexes, no fire zone, no highest defense modifier, towards an enemy's flank. I don't think we can call any of them that. So I think this is just a random one. Yeah. Yeah, it's a choice of the 3. So I'll say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and we'll see which one it goes. So 2. So that's the first one. So basically 1, 2. Yeah, or 1, 2. It doesn't matter. He ends up there. He's not in a fire zone. Just looking along there at that guy. They're still blocking the things, whatever. And then that's just a check on a 1. And then, right, okay, that's it. So we're going to draw a card now to check for a spent check on all of the units. We've got a couple of 3s, 3 2s, and the rest are 1s. So here we go. Well, we'll chuck that card away because that card's done. And we'll draw a spent check card. So a 1 would be nice. It's a 3. Okay, so that will spend maybe some controversial ones there, possibly. So it spends this guy. I don't think that was in debate, but maybe. That one's alright. I'll just take the dice off the rest of these guys. I think there's only one other one, isn't there? Yeah, he's over here. So that one's okay. That one's okay. So it was this guy here. Yeah, I think that was, well, I don't think so. I think he's still, yeah, because he could have moved into one of these 2, couldn't he? Yeah, so there was maybe some of you would have overridden that one and say, well, look, if it was me playing it, I'd take because it would have been a 1 check for either of these 2 hexes. But going by the rules, I think that's the right hex. Okay, so we'll stick with that for now. Right, I better wrap this one up. That's just over an hour, but I need to take a break. Well, the mission track didn't move on. We brought some of the RE down. A couple of them spent, although the ones that are spent are not. We're not going to get a look at them because they're in defensive modified hexes. But there's probably a couple that we might be able to get a look at now by moving. Well, we still need to move up. We need to get involved a bit more. But, yeah. Well, probably going to stick down this side and stick with what we're doing here. But we'll see. Okay, I'll be back with the next part. Hopefully still got a bit more time tonight, but got a good day tomorrow for it. Should get a bit done then. So, if not tonight, tomorrow. Okay, cheers.